going on, beautiful people? It is the CFG, and welcome to another episode of the Confident Fat Guy podcast. Before we get started, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Rise Elite Coaching and Aaron 5 News. Rise Elite Coaching provides fitness, nutrition, and life coaching for busy professionals using the RISE method. Routine, identity, strength, and execution to create substantial results without burnout. Kai Urban, founder and CEO, is a certified life coach and fitness instructor. For all inquiries, you can email Kai at riseelitecoaching@outlook.com. And Aaron 5 News. Go follow Aaron 5 News on Facebook. Aaron 5 News offers free, yes, free business advertising and monthly shout outs. They're also in need of volunteers. You can contact Aaron Glunt on Facebook for more details. That's friend request Aaron Glunt on Facebook for more details. And guess what? The CFG has its first supporter. Ashley Aldridge, thank you so much for supporting the Confident Fat Guy podcast. If you would like to support the Confident Fat Guy podcast, you can go wherever you're listening to the podcast. There's a support the page. It's $3 a month, or I think it's 3, 5, and 10. $10 is for my sponsors, but if you would like to put 10 in, that's completely cool. And if you would like to be a sponsor, it's $10 a month, and you get shout outs on every single episode of the Confident Fat Guy podcast, and you get a shout out on all my social media. As well as supporters, you also get shout out on every single podcast. So I definitely appreciate it. Ashley, thank you so much. Rise Elite Coaching and Aaron 5 News, thank you so much for supporting the Confident Fat Guy podcast. I'm in a pickle, y'all. So I've told this several times that not every episode of the Confident Fat Guy podcast is going to be serious or stuff like that. And I always told you that, we talk about other stuff. Well, now I'm trying to decide whether I want to continue to rent or I want to buy my first home. I'm a dreamer. I have been since I was a little kid. A lot of it is unrealistic, I know, but I love real estate. I I want to get my real estate license. I'm always on Realtor and Zillow just looking at houses. And yeah, I save $1 million homes, not mansions, but you know, $500,000, $100,000, whatever I see I like, I save. Am I ever going to move into $1 million home? Probably not. But I'm a dreamer. And there's just so much stuff that I want for a house that an apartment just won't do it for me. But it's just me and my son, and me and my son have talked about it several times. And he's always like, Dad, why don't we just get an apartment? It's just me and you. And all of his points are valid. Right now we're renting, but I want I want so much more. I want a nice house, a nice garage. I want land. I want to buy a truck. I've always dreamed about building my own show truck. I want to take it to the Four Wheel Jamboree. I want to take it to car shows. I want to take it to the semi. That's my dream. So I want to build a shop, or I want a garage big enough to accommodate that. And I want my own gym. I want to build my own gym. So I either want a furnished basement, or I want a decent sized garage where I can still have my shop, but also I have my gym. I love working on cars. I love horsepower. That's my love. But I also have a love for collecting toys. So I want a toy room. So there's so much that I look into a house and be like, "Oh, that'd be cool. I could do this, I could do that." But most of those homes that are to my liking are 300 to $1 million. And to get an apartment, it's almost as expensive as a house payment. Yeah, I can go for a two-bedroom, two-bath, just me and my son, and I'd pay 1,000 to $1,500. Or I can get a three-bedroom, two-bath and home and still pay $1,500. So I'm kind of stuck. If I get a three-bedroom apartment, I can still have my toy room, but it's going to be more. But I can get a three-bedroom house and it'd be the same. So I don't know. I'm stuck. Right now, I'm still in the process of finishing paying off all my debt. And then, so I don't know. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. My son has his visions of a house, which are completely different from mine, but he's simple. He's like, we can get an apartment, not a big deal. I had a beautiful apartment when I worked at Subaru. Unfortunately, I lost it due to my injuries in 21 because I was off work and my FMLA wasn't kicking in yet. And unfortunately, I lost my apartment. And it was such a beautiful apartment. It was two bedroom, two bath. It was it was 100 square foot. It was 1,000 square foot apartment. Oh, so beautiful. That I miss that place so much. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. And another thing is location. Do I want to stay in Indiana or do I want to move to Florida? Which Florida has always been my dream spot. You know, even before I went to Fort Myers for a week. Have you ever had that feeling that you belonged somewhere? I always thought I belonged in Florida. I can't explain the feeling, but then when I went to Fort Myers for a week, it felt right. It felt like I was meant to be there. But if I get back on the fire department, which the application process is due the 6th, my application's already in, would that keep me here where I'm at? Or would I move to Cass County? I don't know. Everything's up in the air right now. So yeah, I don't know. I've just been looking at houses and apartments from here to Cass County to Florida. It's a hard decision. It really is. My job right now, if I don't get the job at Cass County Fire District 1, I can relocate with my job. Not a big deal. But again, houses and apartments in Florida are way more than they are here in Indiana. So it's do I if I don't get the job, do I just stay where I'm at and just save up my money and then go to Florida and transfer? Or do I stay here in Indiana? I don't have too much left here in Indiana. I have my parents, I have a few aunts and uncles. That's it. Like, either A, my other family members are dead, or I don't have any contact because I'm not gonna lie, just like a lot of other people, I have a very dysfunctional family on my mom's side and on my dad's side, and there's really a lack of communication. So just leaving my parents, that's rough enough. They're getting older, but other family aren't keeping me here. So I don't know what I want to do. And my son is getting ready to go to high school. He's got 4 more years and he wants to be a chef. So, and there are some culinary schools in Florida that he's been looking at. So, do I wait 4 years and then move to Florida or buy a house and stay here in Indiana? I don't know. I really don't know. I have friends in Florida. I have an aunt in Florida. It's where I want to be. I want the warm weather. I want the ocean. I'm not worried about hurricanes. India, I'm used to tornadoes. It's just the price. It's so expensive and the fear of failing. I think that's been my biggest obstacle keeping me from Florida is afraid to fail. If it was just me, I'd have been there years ago, but it's not. I have my son and I got him to think about and I can't fail him. And I've talked to this about this to several people and they're like, you're never gonna know if you don't try. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But if me trying and I fail, yeah, of course I can come back to Indiana. But just the thought of failing my son, that's what keeps me here. And that's what keeps me from not trying. So I don't know. Again, I'm a dreamer. I always have. I've dreamed about finding a whole lot of money on the side of the road, like there has been other people on the news that have found hundreds of thousands or even $1 million just laying out somewhere. Or, I dream about the winning the lottery. I've having a nice fancy house, being good enough for that super sexy fitness model that you see on the internet. I'm a dreamer. Like I dream of unrealistic things and I know that, you know? But that's me. I dream of my son being so successful and even my daughter, she's going down a different path which we're not going to get into, but I'm a dreamer. I look at things and I dream about what I could do with it and I don't know. It might be a downfall cuz I dream too much, but you know, that's me. I'm a dreamer and I try my best to, conquer every goal that I have or dream about. And, that's why I preach to you guys. Conquer your dreams and crush your goals. And I try to live my life by that as much as possible. There's sometimes that I dream that hopefully, a famous person would see my stuff on TikTok or Instagram or something like that. Hell, I want everybody to see my stuff. I want everybody to listen to my podcast. That would be awesome, because I'm hoping my stories help other people. Mental health is huge. And again, I say this all the time. I'm not a professional. I just tell stories on how I got through mental health. And again, if there's anybody out there that doesn't feel comfortable talking to a professional or family members or friends, you can email me at confidentfatguy@yahoo.com. I will talk to you, I will listen to you, and I will give you my opinions and my advice. That's why I created the email. That's why I created my social medias. That's why another reason why I started this podcast. If you do not feel comfortable talking to family members or going to an actual therapist, email me. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, message me. I will talk to anybody. Absolutely anybody. That's what I'm here for. That is what the CFG is here for. And that goes along with me being a dreamer because I dreamed of starting this and I dream of making it big and I want to help people and that's what I dream of is whether it's being a firefighter or being the CFG. That's what I want to do. Because I want to help people. So please feel free to email me again at confidentfatguy@yahoo.com. Follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Message me. I will talk to you. I really will. There's a lot of things I want to accomplish with this brand, and I was talking to my son a while ago before I started this episode, and I've always dreamed of having one of those not old school, but the heavy duty ambulances and convert it into the CFG mobile, so I can start going to, fairs and festivals and setting up and talking to people. And I've thought about, merchandise, t-shirts, stickers. I don't know. Like, I have so many ideas. I just don't know. I don't know if I don't want to say if it's worth it because it's worth it, but I would love to be the CFG full time, not just on social media. I've done a podcast already with somebody, the Jacob Pyle Show. You can find that on YouTube. I'm filming a podcast tomorrow. Um, I would love to do it full time and just travel, be a public speaker, spread more awareness about mental health. I don't know. Maybe I dream too big. You know, what I want to accomplish with this brand, yeah, it's going to take a lot of work, but I have to make the right decisions. And if I'm going to do that, I've got to figure out whether it would be feasible to order all the stuff I want to and travel and sell it, or, you know, try to make a full time wage on just being the CFG. I don't know. There's a lot of things I want to do. And speaking of things I want to do, I'm thinking about having a Q&A episode. I've had my not my website, I'm sorry. I've had my email up for a while. Um and it does get used, people email, not a super lot, but other podcast hosts email me to schedule shows or something like that. But I want to do a Q&A. So if I get enough people to email me, ask questions, or if you follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, send me a question with your name and we'll do a whole episode on just a Q&A. You can ask me anything, how I became the CFG, whatever. But yeah, excuse me. If I get enough questions, then I want to do a Q&A. I think it would be super fun. I think it would be helpful, because there's a lot of people that struggle to talk to people. Send me an email, ask me a question, and if I get enough on all my social medias and my email, we will have a future Q&A episode of the Confident Fat Guy podcast. I think it'd be awesome. And I might even have a co-host for that where they can read off the questions and I'll answer them. That would be cool. Um, so we're gonna wrap up this episode today. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. Again, I want to do a future Q&A episode if I get enough questions. Again, email me at confidentfatguy@yahoo.com. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and TikTok. Send me questions, message me, and if we get enough, we will do a Q&A episode. I think it'd be a blast. Also, if you're interested in being a sponsor, you can go to anywhere that you listen to my podcast and you can sponsor the show. It's $10. If you own a business or if you know any businesses, I will promote your business. I will promote you or your business on every episode of the Confident Fat Guy podcast, and I will shout you out on my social media. Or if you just want to be a supporter, it's $3 a month. Or if you want to do more, that's totally up to you. Everything that I make or will make, it's going straight to the brand. That's going to get me to, if I decide to do merch or travel, or it all goes into the brand. So if that's something you guys are interested in, shoot me an email or you can hit support on anywhere that you're listening to the podcast. Like I said, it's only $3 a month unless you want to be a sponsor, and then it's 10, and then yeah, absolutely, and it's much appreciated. Um, I want to do a lot with this brand, and I'm working really hard on it. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I think here in Indiana it's supposed to be nice the rest of the week with some rain. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna figure out what I want to do, whether I want to rent, whether I want to buy, whether I want to stay in Indiana, whether I want to go to Florida. There's just so much on my plate that I'm just thinking about. So, thank you so much to everybody that does follow and listen to this Confident Fat Guy podcast, my Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I think I'm almost to 760 downloads for the podcast, which is awesome. I can't thank you guys enough. I never thought in a million years that people would want to listen to me talk, but it's humbling and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to my sponsors, Rise Elite Coaching and Aaron 5 News. You can follow Rise Elite Coaching on Instagram and TikTok. Aaron 5 News, you can follow on Facebook. And if you're interested, friend request Aaron Glunt. He's a good dude. Tell him the CFG sent you. If you own a business or you know of someone else that owns a business and they would like to be promoted, um, I love helping small businesses. Um, it's $10 a month, and I will shout you out on every episode of the Confident Fat Guy podcast, and I will promote you on all my social medias. I know promoting is expensive. I've tried it, and right now I just can't afford what these places want to advertise your business. That's not me. That's why I only charge $10 a month, and you'll be on every episode of the podcast, and I will shout you out on all social media. Aaron 5 News does it for free. All you got to do is shout them out once a month. Contact Aaron Glunt on Facebook, CEO and operator of Aaron 5 News. He is becoming the number one source for Indiana news on social media. Go give the kid a follow. He's 17 years old and he has big, big dreams. So, again, I'm out of here. I will see you guys next week. Remember, love yourself, love each other, conquer your dreams, and crush your goals. See you guys later.